Good morning, how are you doing today? So, I've always wanted an art studio, and 3 years ago my friend and I decided to rent one together, and here we are. But I figured it was time I gave you guys an updated art studio tour. So, let's go! But first, let's rewind a little. For most of my journey, my studio was just my bedroom with a desk and a lamp. It's this very room where I started my channel, taught myself watercolors, and made most of my paintings. Honestly, I loved having a bedroom studio. It was my little haven where I could plug in, painting away late into the dark. Once I finished, I could just roll into bed, just to wake up, and rinse and repeat. It sounds great, but it was exactly that which caused me to develop a lot of unhealthy habits. Workaholism is not pretty. So in 2021, a friend and I decided to rent a studio space. He ran his own business in one half of the space, while I made art in the other. It was this massive space, so we invited our friends to come too. And so the studio became a place where our friends came to work from, but also just to come and hang out. There was just something so fun about being able to go to work with friends, even though we were all doing different things. Anyway, let's get into the studio tour. Welcome to my studio. We divided the studio into 6 sections. First, we have the main painting and filming desk, then the computer desk, and behind that we've got the second work desk. Over here, the printer and art drawers. Over there, the storage shelves. And lastly, the chill section. So I guess first I want to show you guys the main desk, which is just this desk right here. It's where I spend most of my time working on either filming content or painting. One thing that I really needed from this setup was to be able to just come in, sit down, press record and start painting away and not worry about much else. So this desk here is from IKEA, but I picked it up from Marketplace secondhand. I sanded it all down and then stained it to this nice cool brown color. I put a matte surface varnish on it, so 1, it doesn't reflect too much light when filming, and 2, it's waterproof. And underneath I just installed a cable management system. For lighting, I have these 2 softbox lighting kits set up on either side of the space. This softbox over here is from Newer. It's got pretty decent lighting, but not enough, so I also use this second one here, which is this Aperture Amaran 200X light dome setup. It supplies a crazy amount of lighting. These 2 lights, it's more than enough to supply a lighting setup to film in. The next key part to this setup is the camera rig. So over to the left of my desk is this camera setup, and what it is a Rode microphone boom arm that is attached to a little camera. This is the Canon M50 that I use to film over the shoulder shots of whatever I'm painting. So for example, I'm painting this, I'll use this camera over here and film this setup like this. This setup is really handy because I can just adjust the camera accordingly to whatever angle I want to get, so I can get quite close and also quite far out. So it's very handy and very versatile. I can actually film entire time-lapse and painting processes because there's a dummy battery in here and the camera is just being supplied by a power supply unit that connects all the way to the power point. Now over to the right of this setup is this C-stand. So this heavy-duty C-stand is used as a paper towel holder, a bag holder, a hairdryer holder, an iPad mount, and also a camera mount. So this camera mount here is really useful because I can put a camera onto it and then film top-down bird's eye view shots of whatever it is I'm painting. But also on the C-stand, I mount my iPad, which I use as a remote monitor for my over-the-shoulder camera. It's connected to that camera over there, so I can see what it is that I'm filming and what I'm recording, and also record remotely. Basically, I always film with these 2 camera angles because my stupid head tends to get in the way of my shots most of the time, so if one doesn't work, then I'll use the other footage. This filming setup took me years to figure out because it has all these different parts to it. So I was thinking about making a more detailed video about the setup sometime. Alright, so what's normally on my desk? I have a laptop stand there, usually whatever I'm painting is on here, my trusty paint palette that I've had for years, brush cups over there. To the right, I have my little paint trolley. And here are just all of my dried up paint mixes, just so that I always have enough colors and don't have to worry about mixing every single time one runs out. Loads of these color bowls that I haven't fully used. Next on the tour is this shelf. Now, while this shelf over here is a very simple shelf from IKEA, it is actually my art supplies shelf, probably worth more than my car, single-handedly because of this straw right there, because it holds my paints. So in here you'll find all of my watercolor tubes, there's that one, and also this tray below as well. In these 2 trays alone are paints that'll probably last me an entire lifetime. It's just that whenever there's a sale at the art store for paints, I always just stock up on them because they rarely go on sale and I feel like I'm eventually going to use them. But because of that mentality, I've collected a lifetime supply worth of paints over the years. I may never get through using all of these paint supplies, but if the world ever goes through an apocalypse and we run out of art supplies, at least I'll be sorted. In the trays above, we've got pencils, so Polychromos coloured pencils, as well as Staedtler Mars Lumograph pencils. Up here, I've got Posca paint pens. Again, I rarely use these two, but I just bought them because they're on sale. Bunch of my Secret Lair Magic the Gathering cards. Down below here in this compartment, I've got a bunch of masking tape and also my gold foiling supplies. Again, I have way too many in here. This box alone will last me a few years. Down below that, I've got more color pencils and my gouache paint supplies. And again, it's just a box of paints that I still am struggling to finish and use all of them, but I just bought them again because they go on sale at my local art store. I'm just a hoarder, okay? But on the other side of the shelf, in here we've got a stash of warm clothes, so studio hoodies because it gets cold in here, and also this hoodie that I designed for my own merch, but never actually got to finishing, which is kind of a shame, but I still really want to make this a thing, so I'm going to revisit it at some point this year. In here, what's in here? Oh, these are all my sketchbooks. This one's from 2017, I think, or 18. My drawing sketchbook, so this is from 2021. Just all my pencil scribbles, sketches and composition ideas. Down below, even more sketchbooks, so just my sketchbooks from over the years. And over to this corner, we've got some more art supplies. So this is my current sketchbook from 2023 to this year. And it's just got a bunch of my pencil drawings, sketches, composition ideas, and just rough drawings. Also underneath, got some watercolor paper, so just pads of watercolor paper for easy access, arches, Fabriano, yeah, just paper supplies. In the shelves below, we've just got camera equipment, spare lenses, batteries, chargers, SD cards, and down below, same thing, more cameras, more chargers, more electronics. Yeah, that's the shelf. One of my favorite parts of the filming setup is this background. I figured instead of having a boring plain white background for my videos, I wanted to fill the wall with all my little watercolor thumbnail sketches. I recently went to a museum exhibition and picked up this vinyl sticker of the iconic banana taped on the wall piece. Another cool little Easter egg in the studio is this little rat in the wall sticker. Whenever I'm not at my painting desk, I'm always over here. This right here is my computer desk. My setup is an Apple Studio display monitor hooked up to my MacBook and my wireless keyboard and mouse, and beside that setup is this spare monitor. So this is my friend's monitor, and he's the guy that I originally shared the studio with. Basically, this spare monitor is just used for whenever friends want to come into the studio, do some work, talk smack, and hang out. One of the things we wanted when we first got the studio was to have a mega desk. So we DIY'd these two massive timber tables, sanded it all down, and then stained and varnished it the same way I did with my painting desk. So it's pretty sturdy, it's waterproof, it's got a nice color to it. Now we actually made two of these. Originally we had these two tables back to back, just over here. So we wanted that mega desk so that we could all work and have this huge table to work from. But we ended up splitting it into two, just so that it feels a bit more spacious and open. That right there is my Wacom Cintiq. It's the 24HD, which I've had for a few years now. Probably one of the most useful things that I own. I use it for whenever I'm working on digital paintings or digital art, but it also doubles up as a monitor, so people can use this as a monitor in case we don't have enough seats or desks or monitors for my friends to come in and use. And right beside the Cintiq is my little James Jean station. Over there, the James Jean Descendant resin sculpture. Cutting mat for whenever I need to cut prints or paper. Cool little paper lamp. Vintage Chupa Chups can container thing that I stole from my mum's garage. And over here is my little printer setup. So this right here is the Canon Pro 1000. It's a fine art printer that I picked up last year as an investment into my business. So I actually work with a local fine art printer. I've got my prints made from them for years now. They're called SML. Awesome guys, love working with them, and they've always made my prints. But I figured it'd be good to have my own little printer for whenever I need to print just quick small jobs, one-offs here and there. Super useful, quite expensive, but a massive investment. I used to watch so many artist studio tours, and nearly every artist studio always had one of these massive metal art drawers. So I wanted one. And after hunting on Facebook Marketplace for ages, I finally scored one last year for a really, really cheap deal. In these drawers, I just store a bunch of my test prints, watercolor paper sheets, and some originals. To be completely honest, it's kind of overkill because my paintings aren't even that big, but I just really wanted one of these drawers so I could feel more like a real artist. And over here is a box full of thumbnail paintings. So just like my wall over there, these are just more watercolor thumbnails of pieces that I've made over the years. I just make these thumbnails whenever I make a painting, whenever I'm doing like an exhibition piece or a commission or something, and I just really want to make sure that the colors and composition look and feel right. I really do want to fill an entire wall with these, but I'm a bit lazy, so I'll get to it eventually. And over here we have a sticky note wall of goals. So each year my friends and I would write up our goals for the year on these sticky notes. We'd put them on the wall and we'd try to tick them off at the end of each year and remove as many as we could, just to motivate each other to strive for some cool goals and hopefully tick things off through the year. Each color is for a different person, so we actually had, 6, 7, 8 people come to the studio. And over here we've got my storage shelves. So just a few different bits and pieces. We've got my packing supplies, spare art supplies, tea, coffee station, printer, mate's old keyboard, and this box over here is actually kind of cool. It's got all of my old sketchbooks. I've been collecting my sketchbooks since I was a kid. These are from 2010, 2011, and I think it's just pretty cool because you can really see how my work has evolved over the years. From when I was a kid, all the way through high school. I tried so many different styles. I think this one is from 2007. Yeah, 2007. So these are from when I was 12 years old. I think it would be pretty cool to film a sketchbook flip through tour, see how my work has evolved over the years. If you guys are interested. This is sick, okay. This is from 2010. This was meant to be Vengeful Spirit from Dota. Would you guys want to see a childhood sketchbook flip through tour? And that's the old sketchbook box. Now this here is the chill section. It's the chill lounge. We wanted a little chill area for our studio where we could just sit, relax, hang out. This couch is so comfy. It's too comfy that it's just so easy to have a quick nap here. One of my prized possessions is this Agnes Cecile original painting, and she's my biggest idol. She's the artist who inspired me to start watercolor in the first place. Right beside the sofa, we've got a coffee table filled with my art book collection, my hard drives and storage system, my alcohol marker supplies, and my trusty Epson V600 scanner. From this art book collection, you can clearly tell I'm obsessed with Yoshitaka Amano as well as James Jean, and also Loish. So all those brown cardboard book sleeves, these are all Loish's art books. Other bits and pieces, my Demon Slayer painting that I framed and just have sitting there. Beside the entrance, a cute little Polaroid wall, which we originally set out to do a whole entire wall of, but we got lazy. It's just people who've come to the studio and visited. Spare tripods, a sick Banksy print, this picture of nuns playing baseball, another little rat in the wall, 2 paintings that my friends made from my first watercolor workshop, and this Peppa Pig rug that I tufted. The studio has changed a lot over the years. Originally when we got it, it was quite cold and grey, so we decided to warm up the space by adding splashes of colour here and there, like the yellows you'll see. Got this Dominic Fike poster, these yellow throws, these pillows, these rugs, and even the wood furniture. To make it even more vibey, I added these lights and lamps throughout the studio, and the space is quite tall, so we even threw fairy lights on top of the ceiling for extra vibes. The overall effect, just mwah.
Over the few years that I've had this studio, I've cultivated a little environment for me to feel completely at home and creative in. I'm a creature of habit, so adjusting to this new space was weird at first, since I only ever felt creative in my bedroom. While it was nice to work from home all the time, my workspace was the same room that I slept in, so my mind began to associate my environment with work and being productive. It started to eat away at my mental and physical health until I developed some really bad sleeping problems. Since getting the studio though, I've established a routine and treat my work more like a job, setting boundaries between home and work, and these days I even look forward to leaving the house every day to come here and make art. Also, it just feels kind of nice to get out of the house instead of being cooped up in a room 24/7. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the studio tour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Don't forget to make more art, and I'll see you guys soon.